Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John and I have got another book haul today for you guys. It is Wednesday. It's about 8 o'clock. So anyway, my friend and I, we went to North Hollywood to the Iliad Bookstore, and I'm going to post a picture of it up there. That's the outside of the store where you go in. I don't know who the guy is in the picture. I have no idea. He was just there. If you notice, there's boxes of books outside of the store, and I think they're bargain books or clearance books or whatever, and he was looking through those and just happened to be in the picture with his back turned, so I don't have to give him any credit or anything like that because I wouldn't know how to do it in the first place. And he can't sit there and say, hey, you took my picture without permission, because his face is not visible. Anyway, so I went to the Iliad about 4, maybe 5 years ago. My wife and my family went, and I got some really good books back then. I think I actually got a better haul this time than when I went the last time, all right? The Iliad, if you've ever been there, and I'm going to leave the address in the comment, or not the comments, in the description. The Iliad is big. I mean, they've got stuff divided up like a library. It's like one section that says graphic novels, this, that, and the other thing. Over here's westerns and this, that, and the other thing. Mysteries, U.S. history, nonfiction, that, whatever. Whatever you were looking for, you're going to find it at the Iliad. All right? I mean, and some of the shelves are so tall that you got to have a ladder. You got to get a ladder and get up to be able to grab books off the top shelf. That's how tall they are. All right? So I got a total, and actually one of these books didn't come from the Iliad. I got it from Amazon. I'm going to show it off first. But I got a total of 11 books here from the Iliad, and I think I did pretty good, okay? Anyway, so the one from Amazon, this is one of the books in the Splatter Western series, and this is book number 8. I think it's actually technically Splatter Western book number 14, but this is a sequel to oh God, what is the name of the damn book? It is a sequel to The 13th Coyote. It is also by Christopher Triana. And this is Ballad of the Werevixens. Alright? Years after battling the dreaded outlaws known as the Coyotes, Delia Van Vraken travels mountains and valleys hunting demons that manage to escape hell. But also traveling across the plains is Balthazar Rott, a subhuman who's been alive for centuries. He's searching for something Delia hoped was forever buried, bringing with him a band of bloodthirsty brides. Meanwhile, young prostitute Josie is discovering new changes about herself, particularly when the moon is full, and when sisters Emma and Pearl find a strange sphere in the hands of a dead preacher. They must band together with crusaders to bring the relic to the reckoning before the Werevixens come. Ballad of the Werevixens is the thunderous sequel to The 13th Coyote, part of a trilogy of horror western epics by Splatterpunk Award winner Christopher Triana, author of Gone to See the Riverman and Shepherd of the Black Sheep. It celebrates the strength of the women of the American West, weaving a stunning tale of horror, hardship, and hope. Alright, there's a picture of the author. It says, wanted for murder and lycanthropy. There he is. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to put that one back on the shelf right here below me. Get it out of the way. Okay, so now for the books that I got from the Iliad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the paperbacks first. I got them all in alphabetical order. One of these books I did find out when I got home that I do actually already have the book. So what are you going to do? I'll probably take it somewhere and do a trade-in on it. Maybe the Bookhounds here in Bakersfield. Anyway, the first one I got is the original copy, the way Louisa May Alcott intended it. I got Little Women and Werewolves. And like I said, this is the way she actually intended it. but they made her edit it. They cut out a bunch of stuff out of it, all right? You know, and that's just really not fair to her. I mean, even says here it includes 8 edifying illustrations in the original letter from Alcott's editor telling her not to even think about it. I mean, come on, dude. Her editor, man, he squelched her. That's what he did. She wanted to write a book about Little Women and werewolves, and they just made her write a book about Little Women. Alright, so if y'all ever get a chance, read this book. I haven't read it yet myself, but read it, because it's got werewolves in it, and it's got Little Women in it. You know, alright? Anyway, that is Little Women and Werewolves. That is by Melissa. Damn, who the hell is Melissa? I have no idea who Melissa is. Louisa May Alcott, and with a little bit of help from Porter Grand. I think he's the one that found the actual, the missing manuscripts for it. Alright? And it says there are some illustrations. So you know what? Let's find an illustration. My fan is on, so the wind's kind of blowing my pages. Come on now. Ah, here we go. Here's one. Oh yeah. If there was a full moon in the sky, there would be werewolves aplenty on the grounds. And look there. There's the werewolves, and there's the moon in the sky. And there are the werewolves. Where is Warren Zevon when you need him? If you don't know who Warren Zevon is, look him up, because he's awesome. Alright? Anyway, moving on. Okay, next up, let me move this here. Next up in the paperbacks, I've got Kiss of the Vampire. This is by Nancy Baker. Let me move it in a little closer. Alright. I gotta have the overhead light on, because it's like I said, it's dark outside, and even if I have my other light on, it's not enough light. So there's that. Alright, and says this was formerly titled The Night Inside. I guess they figured Kiss of the Vampire would sell more books. Dmitry Rozakov has awakened after a sleep of 100 years, but for a 15th century Russian aristocrat and vampire at large in modern-day Toronto, there is no safe haven. Ardeth Alexander is leading the predictable life of a graduate student when she is grabbed off the street and thrown into a prison cell with a dark, mysterious stranger, Dmitry Rozakov. But even more terrifying than her abduction is its purpose. She is to sustain with her blood the life of her fellow prisoner. Yet once Ardeth breaks through the vampire's madness and sees the man within, the nightly feedings become more than necessity, even something to be longed for. Desperate to survive, Ardeth makes a daring decision, one fueled by the promise of immortality, the lust for revenge, and the fulfillment of desire. And that is Kiss of the Vampire. Nancy Baker. All right. And I've noticed that sometimes when these guys, people write, they write under different names. No, she's really Nancy Baker, according to that. Alright, next up I got another vampire novel here. This one is by Elaine Bergstrom, and this is Blood Alone. And that's a pretty cool cover if you ask me. I'm going to move it in closer so you can get a look at it. Okay. Paul Stoddard came to Europe to learn the antique art of glassmaking, but there, in the shadow of rising Nazism, he fell in love with a beautiful, seductive woman, a woman of many secrets. Her family, the proud and noble Austrias, are vampires. Her cousin has been sent to a concentration camp, and now Paul has decided to join the vampires' war against the Reich. Blood Alone, a breathtaking novel of erotic terror. Blood Alone unveils the epic story of the blood-cursed Austrias, a magnificent family of vampires introduced in Elaine Bergstrom's stunning debut, Shattered Glass. So I might have to find Shattered Glass before I actually read this one. Alright? Anyway, that is Blood Alone, Elaine Bergstrom. Okay, next up from Robert Dunbar. Says uncut version in paperback for the first time. This is The Pines. Okay. Deep within the desolate pine barrens, a series of macabre murders draws ever nearer to an isolated farmhouse where a woman struggles to raise her strange, disturbed son. The boy seems to have a psychic connection to something in the dark forest, something unseen and evil. The old-timers in the region know the truth of the legendary creature that stalks the pine barrens, and they know the savagery it's capable of. So, yeah, I believe we are talking about some Jersey Devil action with this one. So, that one might get bumped up to the top of my list. Jersey Devil is just cool as hell, man. He's something else. Alright, next we've got... now, this looks like an older copy or older book. Let me see what year this was published. 1988. Alright, this is The Werewolf's Tale, and this is by Richard Jacoma. Move the cover in a little closer there. A detective story. Jimmy Underhill was once the most respected private eye in Manhattan. Now, in 1939, disillusioned and disappointed, he's been hitting the bottle, playing the ponies, and taking on cases no reputable agency would touch. Witchcraft, hauntings, demonic possessions, all manner of black magic and the occult. A horror story. The monstrous undead are called from their graves. The drinkers of blood raise their goblets over the corpses of their victims. In the black dawn, the wolf lifts its great silver head and howls in a half-human voice. In New York City, the agents of the Nazis are gathering the forces of evil to unite with the beast that is ravaging Europe. A werewolf's tale. Bitten on the neck and changing, Jimmy Underhill is the only one who can halt the Nazified swarms in the secret, occult caverns of New York. But to win the struggle against evil, he must win the struggle against the animal in himself, the relentless lust of the werewolf that burns within and threatens to overwhelm his human soul. Warning! If you are terrified of confronting the animal in yourself, do not read this book. That is The Werewolf's Tale. Move that cover in a little closer for y'all. Closer. Da, 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 da. There we go. Alright, that's by Richard Jacoma. Okay, last but not least, this is the one that I found out that when I got home, I've already got a copy of it. So, like I said, I'll probably trade this one in at Book Hounds or some other bookstore. Or maybe just donate it. Maybe donate it to the library. Something like that. Anyway, this is Wendy Morgan. This is Obsession. This is the first or second book in a series. Yeah, Obsession. It looks like it's the first one. Now, Wendy Morgan is a pen name for Wendy Corsi Staub. For Megan McKenna, things have always come easy. Her privileged life in Crawford Corners, Connecticut has left her wanting for nothing until now. Lately, things have been happening. Strange things, dark things, evil things. People seeing her in places she's never been. Ugly incidents befalling those she cares about. Whispers of witchcraft that raise questions about where she comes from and who might want her out of the way. That is Obsession by Wendy Morgan. Alright, now let's move on to the hardbacks, because every one of these hardbacks that I've got is, except for one, maybe two of them, but at least four of them are special editions, and not only that, they are signed, so I'm really happy about that. Alright, the first one is Vessels, and this is by Keelan Patrick Burke. Alright, and it is a signed copy. Let me open it up here. This is number 384, and there is Keelan's signature right there. Okay. And who published this one? I can't remember. This is published by Bloodletting Books. Alright. On a remote island off the coast of Ireland, an unpiloted boat drifts ashore, watched by a man to whom the dead are something to be feared. In a small stone chapel that stands hunkered against the vicious island winds, a woman whispers frantic prayer to the gathering dark as something pale and dreadful scratches at the window. A young girl races to the shore to meet her lover and finds something monstrous instead. And in a confessional, a dead man waits to tell his sins. A gunshot in a church in Los Angeles leads Tim Quinn halfway around the world and into a nightmare. For on Black Rock Island, he will find love, murder, and madness, and discover an earth-shattering truth about the curtain and those who hide behind it. And that is Vessels. And it's got the protective cover on it, so it's kind of shiny. All right. And I wonder what the actual cover of it looks like. It's kind of nice. If you see right here, has the thing, and then nice kind of silver lettering. So that's pretty cool. And let me get it back on here. What did I do? See, this is what I get for doing shit like this. Alright. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, here we go. Alright. Y'all are probably sitting there going, I wish he would get on with this crap. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to put that one right there. Alright, next up, and I did talk about this one before because I talked about some werewolf books that I haven't read yet. One of them was The Turning, and it was alright. I gave it 3. I'm going to have to read the sequels because it kind of surprised me. A character dies in it that I didn't expect to die, and so anyway, this one is by Nancy Collins. This is Walking Wolf, a weird western, and this is another one that is signed. So let's find the signature here. I'm not sure who the other signature is, but there is Nancy Collins' signature right here. Because I don't think it's not illustrated as far as I know. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's not illustrated, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's the guy that did the design for the cover, Arnie Fenner. No, it's not him. Oh, it looks like it might be J.K. Potter. Alright, anyway, this is Walking Wolf. Billy Skillet was a remarkable man by anyone's definition. At the age of 145, he's decided to set down the story of his life. And what a life. A white child raised as a Comanche brave, friend to Chief Sitting Bull, participant in buffalo hunts and wild battles, sidekick to a vampire gunslinger, werewolf. Beg pardon, you're saying? Vampire gunslinger? Werewolf? Well, we said Billy's life was remarkable, didn't we? Award-winning author Nancy A. Collins poses the question, what if Little Big Man had been a werewolf? In this wonderfully crafted roller coaster of a novel, well known for her jewel-like prose and an eclectic sensibility, swinging effortlessly from punk to southern gothic and back again, she has gained a wide following of readers who eagerly await each new work. Alright? Collins describes Walking Wolf as a cross between an American Werewolf in London and The Unforgiven, with a dose of Sam Peckinpah and Jonah Hex comics on the side. And that's a hell of a recommendation. If you've ever watched a Sam Peckinpah movie, then you know what they are talking about with this. Alright, anyway, that is Walking Wolf. And of course, Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood movie. Man, that's just awesome movie. I love that movie. Alright, it's one of my favorite westerns. Okay. Alright, got a little dust on this one. Dang. Alright, so next up, figured I would buy a nicer copy than I already have of The Werewolf of Paris. Alright, and I believe this is by Guy Andor. I believe it was published in 1933. Yep. Let's see. The werewolf is one of the great iconic figures of horror and folklore, legend, film, and literature. And connoisseurs of horror fiction know that The Werewolf of Paris is a cornerstone work, a masterpiece of the genre that deservedly ranks with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In this gripping work of historical fiction, Andor's werewolf, an outcast named Bertrand Calais, travels across pre-revolutionary France seeking to calm the beast within. Stunning in its sexual frankness and eerie, fog-enshrouded visions, the novel remains decidedly influential for the generations of horror and fantasy authors who followed in Andor's footsteps. And that is The Werewolf of Paris. And that one's not signed because Guy Andor probably died about 50 years ago. I'm not sure when he actually passed away. Alright. I got a lot of werewolf books today. The last 3 books I've got here are also werewolf books, and I didn't actually realize I got so many of them. Alright, anyway, the next one is Moondance by S.P. Somtow. This is a big one. Alright, I've tried to read this one several times, and I just never can seem to get through it, but I am going to give it the old not in college try once again. Okay. Let's see what this is about here. In the Dakota Territory in the 1880s, the United States was engaged in removing the savage Lakota from their homeland. It was a long war of attrition which would end at the Little Bighorn and in a century of tears to come. But among the Lakota was a small tribal group, the Shumanatu, from whom the shamans were chosen. These were the people of the wolf, the ones who could change shape at the full moon. The Shumanatu were revered by the Lakota, and in turn they protected the tribes. In Vienna, the Graf von Wolfen is gathering together the remaining members of his family. He intends to immigrate with them to the New World, to the distant wild plains of the West. For the Graf von Wolfen is the last leader of a pack of werewolves who have been hunted by human society almost to extinction. Too many humans have discovered their secrets. Too many of the prey have learned to escape. In America, the pack will be free, and the prey, ignorant savages, will be helpless before them. Already, von Wolfen's people are building their new home in the Dakota Territory. Caught in the middle is a young woman named Hope. She is the all-too-human governess of von Wolfen's illegitimate son. Her love for the young boy and her helpless fascination with the Count force her to travel with them. And then there is the child, Johnny, raised in a madhouse and only recently discovered by his father. He is trapped in a struggle between his human and wolfish natures. When werewolf meets shaman, between the gold-hungry settlers and the U.S. cavalry, then blood will fly and lives will be forever changed. And that is Moondance, S.P. Somtow. Alright. These next 2 are actually part 1 and part 2. I don't know if there's a part 3. If there is, I hope I can find a copy as nice as these, but these are also signed. Book 1 is The Guns of Santa Sangre. It's by Eric Red. And he also signed his copy. He's a very minimalist signer, as you can see right here. Alright. 6 guns versus werewolves in the Old West. They're hired guns, the best at what they do. They've left bodies in their wake across the West. But this job is different. It'll take all their skill and courage and very special bullets, because their targets this time won't be shooting back. They'll fight back with ripping claws, tearing fangs, and animal cunning. They're werewolves. A pack of bloodthirsty wolfmen have taken over a small Mexican village, and the gunmen are the villagers' last hope. The light of the full moon will reveal the deadliest showdown the West has ever seen. 3 men with 6 shooters facing off against snarling, inhuman monsters. And that is The Guns of Santa Sangre. And it's kind of got a wraparound cover, so let me show it off here. You can see the front and then on the back. Okay. Alright, and last but not least, we've got the second book in the series. Like I said, I hope it is the last book in the series. This is also by Eric Red, and this is The Wolves of El Diablo. And I apologize for the glare. I'm trying my best to get the glare out of the picture. So anyway, that is The Wolves of El Diablo. In the guns of Santa Sangre, three 1800s gunfighters battled a ferocious pack of werewolves in old Mexico. In the sequel, The Wolves of El Diablo, the three outlaws rob a Federale steam train in the Badlands of El Diablo, transporting a fortune in silver bars. But when a savage werewoman, hungry for revenge on the men who killed her brother, leads her bloodthirsty gang of wolfmen in an attack on the train, the outlaws find themselves trapped on a high-balling railroad in the middle of the desert, fighting 50 werewolves. This time it's bigger action, more lycanthropes, more silver bullets, and much more werewolf western thrills. And once again by Eric Red. Once again, he signed it. It was a very minimalist signature. Alright, so that is going to do it for the book haul that I got today from the Iliad in North Hollywood. Like I said, I will leave the description for the Iliad, not the description, but the address for the Iliad down below in the description. And until next time, thank you guys for watching. And actually, you know what? Before I say goodbye or good night or whatever, I want to say thank you to you guys that stuck by me, stayed subscribed to my channel, supported me when I took this little break. I came back from this break feeling a lot better. Like I said, I pretty much taken the advice that Pax Panic has, told everybody, and that's just don't give a shit. I'm just going to make these videos. I'm going to have fun with them. I recorded a video for a movie review for You Won't Be Alone, and I've only got like 14 views on it, but you know what? 14 people watched it, and that's better than nobody. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, once again, thank y'all. Every one of you, thank you. Alright, and until next time, take care and stay scared. Bye-bye.